I'm going to call the Greeley City Attorney's Office and ask them how they are able to bring charges and pay for court when they bring one of the people, a citizen, to court. You know, it doesn't make sense to me that they would be able to take somebody to court free of charge. Anita, I have an interesting question. When the city, say, you know, hypothetically, the city what the heck? What the heck happened there? Maybe they know who I am and they're already... Wow. Did you see that? This lady hung up on me.
You have reached the office of the Greeley City Attorney in the voicemail of Nita Schmidt.
Yeah, I can tell. I'll leave a message and they won't answer back. Boy, I'll tell you what, these guys are a bunch of bastards. Okay, let's go down the list and see if I could get anybody to answer. Weld County Attorney. These guys are just totally lawless. There's no law. They are unaccountable to anybody. They just rule over us without our consent and without even being accountable and answering any questions.
County Attorney's Office, this is Diane.
Hi, Diane. If a cop pulls you over and gives you a citation, and you want to say object or whatever, you know, take it to court.
Yes.
How do they pay for court costs? If an individual officer gives you a citation, don't you think he should pay for the court costs? I mean, how could he bring a claim against another man and get a free ride through the court system, but we can't? Does that make sense?
Can't really answer that question for you, sir. You've reached the county attorney's office, and we don't address those issues.
Okay.
That type of a case. The district attorney's office does. Would you like me to transfer you to them?
Sure. Thank you very
thank
much.
you.
Hey, does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because I'm finding out that, you know, there's a lot that this country didn't teach us. One of them is contracts. You know, the birth certificate and social security card. We're signing these things, but nobody's telling us what they mean. And to my understanding, and it's been admitted by George Washington and Edward Mandell House, a banker representative, admitted that it's a fraud because they're contracts by which we give up our sovereignty and we become basically subject to someone else. And they didn't teach us that in school. They didn't teach us about bankruptcy. They didn't teach us about fiat currency. And I'm trying really hard to reason with them, but they don't even want to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. And so now I'm left with no choice but to, you know, file charges against them because, I mean, it's pretty obvious that we're signing things, and it's pretty obvious that we're not given the full disclosure of the details of the contract of what we're signing.
Right.
So according to contract law, that's a fraud because they're they're using deception because they say that we're getting benefits and privileges through this Social Security card, but yet they're taking all of our rights and property, because now we have to pay taxes on what people believe is theirs, but it's not ours, because if it was, nobody could tell us what we can or can't do with it.
Right.
I think, I mean, that's my logical thinking. If I have a house and somebody taxes me on it, that means I don't own my house, and it's all through the Social Security card and birth certificate that they're able to tax you and tell you what to do with your own life and with your own property. To me, that doesn't sound right.
What questions you have there, sir?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of research, because what happened is in 2008, I ended up homeless because there wasn't enough money in the economy, and that wasn't my fault. I mean, maybe it was, because I didn't understand it. No school ever taught me how the money system worked. So when I started trying to figure out how the whole system works, that's when I started discovering that about the Federal Reserve Bank and how we've given up our rights through these contracts. And now, of course, if it is a fraud, then it's only obvious that nobody will talk to you about it, because it's indeed a fraud. Nobody talks about a fraud. I mean, if a government is holding something over you, unrighteously or unjustly or unlawfully, then of course they're not going to talk about it. That's my thinking. And nobody wants to talk about it. Mark Udall, Corey Gardner, the Greeley Police. I went to the city council meeting, and they have absolutely nothing to say. And even one of the guys, city council members, I won't mention his name right now, but he even said he would interact with us. And then I gave him a call, and no call back. It's like I'm saying, hey, I think you guys are involved in a fraud. Can you rebut that and convince me and teach me, because you never taught us in school? And now they don't want to talk about it. The guy said he was going to call me back, and here it is 2 days later, and he's not even just like every other government employee. Nobody.
Maybe you'll have to go to another board meeting.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I want my rights back, and just like our founders, we did everything we could to reason with King George, but King George wouldn't give up the tyranny. He wouldn't give it up willfully. So what happened was, when we wouldn't submit to their unlawful agenda, then we resisted, and we won the revolution and started a new country where everybody was free. So I don't know, maybe that's what has to happen again. I know that's what history shows happens to countries. Anyway, if you want, could you excuse me, can you transfer me over?
I can do that. Just a moment, please.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Mr. Attorney's office?
Yes. I would like to know, how does an officer, when he brings an accusation against a citizen by writing him a ticket, how does he pay for court costs to prove that the person is guilty?
Okay. I guess I'm not understanding. So, did you receive a citation from an officer?
No, ma'am. I think this is a process that happens all the time. What boy, I
your
just
question
I guess I'm
is
living in a
definitive.
I'm living in a dreamland where I'm hoping people will just answer a question. I'm hoping. I guess it's a dreamland.
Unfortunately, there's no. I mean, I kind of need to know. Your question is, if someone's issued a citation, they come to court on their citation.
Yeah, how does the officer pay for the court?
How does the officer pay for court?
Yeah, I mean,
The officer does not pay for
obviously,
court.
because, if I have an accusation against the city, then it comes out of my pocket. And if I'm not rich enough, then therefore justice can't come on my behalf because I don't have enough money.
Yeah. So no, the
So-
officer does not pay for court costs.
Yeah, so who pays for the court costs?
The state of Colorado does.
Yeah. Well, how come they have unlimited funds, but if I want justice, I don't have the money for justice. So
Unfortunately,
what?
I don't. You would have to speak to someone in the state of Colorado and, try to contest some of the laws that are formed. I mean, we only enforce them. We
So
don't
it-
write them.
So it almost sounds like possibly statutes are unlawful, possibly. It sounds like.
Possibly.
Wow. I mean, the rabbit hole just gets deeper and deeper. This country doesn't sound like it's operating righteously and justly,
Correct.
and there's no justice here. It's sounding to me like now, if I have an accusation against, a police officer or government agency, I should have that same opportunity
Correct. I
to,
agree with you.
yeah.
So, did you need to speak to anybody in particular? Or?
Well, I don't know. Who has power? I mean, who has power to answer that question? I mean, this sounds like common sense,
Yeah. I would recommend you to someone in the state of Colorado.
Like a legislature or something?
Correct.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Okay.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.